Hello, everybody. It's Flesson19, and if you're here, then that tells me you're not satisfied with the smithing that you got. And in this bonus episode, we're going to work up to Legendary Smith. Now, you might not be able to hit it, but you might want one of your companions. As you can see, I only have 6 points in there, so what my cap would end up being is 274. I would be one short. And if you don't know how to figure out a hard cap, I do have a video in it. Go look in the skills playlist and you will see how to figure out hard caps. And just getting to 275 only gives you a 5%. You want somebody that's really high to do it. So what you want to look for is those people with great endurance, which we do have one, which is the waist. And he just hit 8, so he will be able to hit over 300. So we're going to be able to get one, and you just might not be content with it. So I'm going to show you exactly how I work the rest of this. Now, from our materials, we are a little bit short. You may or may not be. We do not have enough. As I showed you the last time, I had 1,500 hardwood, and we do not have enough. So we need to go around and collect some stuff up. Now I do have 122,000 on me, but just in case for some reason you don't have a lot on you, I'm going to show you what you can go ahead and do. So first of all, go into your weapons, which we want two-handed. And we did not get one of the two best blades. Well, three best blades. This is one. You can tell because they're weird looking. That is the second best blade. When you come up here, the first curved one, that is the third best blade. And that is the best one. So take and make one of these. And the best handle is this one, 3 over, 3 up. The best one here is all the way over and all the way and third up, which is all the way, all the way. And this best one is the big ball. Now, unfortunately, you want to make it as big as possible because you want damage. He can't. Oh, geez. I'm going to have to redo it again. And you always want your best person to do it. Because the higher quality it is, which means the more damage, the more it's going to be worth. So our best one was the waist. So we're going to want the waist to make it. And you can make as many as you want, but just remember you're going to be using up your materials. For this, I am only going to make one. And then that way I could show you in case you need money, which is grizzled the waist. So we'll have the waist make up one. There were no negatives to it, so it's a decent weapon. And if we go into here and we look, it is worth 55,000. Now, a lot of times you're going to get them and they're going to be super expensive. Once we get a better blade, you can actually get them up over 100,000 each, which I'm pretty sure the waist probably gained right off of that. Yeah, he did. He went to legendary. So, here's what we're going to do. We are going to go back around the world again. We're going to go to every empire town and collect up the weapons, which are those Pugios. And then we're going to go into Asarai territory, and we are going to get the daggers. Now, I am going to show you a little bit of an alternative in a few weapons. I will cut most of this out so you don't have to sit here for 20 minutes as I go around and collect them up. Let's stop off at this village and grab their hardwood. Thank you very much. And you could do the same thing as I explained before when you come through here. They have hardwood at Aragon. They have it at Imprella, Otengard, and Onira. So collect up that hardwood. In the Empire towns, I will just give you them. There's 5, I believe, different weapons that can cost a little bit of money. However, they contain fine steel. So here we got Pugios. We'll take them. Now, we might not have all of them. Betha with a narrow fuller Make sure it's with a narrow fuller. It costs 3,000, but it contains a fine steel. When you get the big weapon takes 6 fine, I believe 6 fine steel to make. So 6 times 4,000 is 24,000, but it's worth 120,000. So it is a good investment. So you would buy that one, and then I'm not sure if they'll have all of them. They probably won't. You will buy a long fine steel spear, and I'll hit the Alt key or the Control key, so I buy all of them. Fine steel Navallion, and they do not have the Imperial lance. So I'm going to check a couple of these places just to see if they have them. But you will be able to find in your travels that certain weapons will contain fine steel, and you can go ahead and buy them. They will cost you anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 to buy, but it is great later, once you bought most of the Pugios and the throwing daggers from Aserai territory, that they contain enough fine steel that you will be able to easily make a profit. Now in 1.5.9, depending on the prosperity of the town, they increased how much each town has. You can see it right here. It has 44,000. Mine is worth 55,000. So that's 12,000 right there short. What do I do? First of all, hit the value button and hit it twice. It'll show you the most expensive things in town. To make up for that loss, buy something. What if you need something for your troops? What if you need a better bow? You could even go up and look, find steel. How much does this have in it? Maybe it only has one. You don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell this off. I'm going to sell off my 55,000, or an easier way you do it is just buy. So I will go ahead and I will buy this right here. As you can see, it's 53,000 and mine is worth 55,000. That means I could still buy another 2,000 worth. So buy something. Whatever you might want to think. Long fine steel spear. Does this have one? We don't know. Let's buy one. 54,000. 55,000. Sell our weapon. We now took all their money and got a couple items in return. Let's see what that weapon has. Look at that. 2 fine steel and 5 steel. That's equivalent 2-to-1 ratio. That is 4 fine steel and 1 steel. Practically what one of those weapons makes. And how much did we get that for? That was the fine steel Parametheon or whatever. Where are you? Right there. 3. That was only 1. No, that's fine steel Manalline. Right there it is. If you want to find something in the inventory, all you have to do is hit your inventory like this. Watch this. I'll sell 1 to him. Now watch me click this. See how it easily pulls it up? This is an easy way for you to find something. This works with troops as well. When you get done with a battle, you can click on one of your prisoners, and it will automatically do this if they have the same prisoner as you. Now you can go ahead and just buy it all. So just come through here, click on each one. Oh, look at that. They have those. I will take them from you. And that is an easy way for you to go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all these towns. And I'm going to go ahead and buy up all the weapons that I need, that I want to smith. And then once I get all the way back around, and of course I'm going to buy the hardwood, Oltengard, Agaron, Onira, I'm going to buy all the hardwood. And then when I get back up to Seanon, I might stop off at Orcs Hall to get hardwood. These 2 villages have it. This one's connected to Car Ben Seth. This one is connected to Dunglanese. And then I will finish off at Cyanon, most likely picking up the hardwood from here, and possibly here. So I will cut it right here, and when I get back around, I will show you what I have collected. While you're out and about, get some money. Do some delivery quests. Do some bandit bases and tie them together with laborers. Do anything you can to try to help make money. Once you get to Asgard, maybe you want to buy some horses and take those up into Valandia since you're going right near Valandia, and you can get yourself some more money. Or if you notice a town has 55,000 or so in money and you know that your weapons you're building are worth 55,000, build a weapon and sell it off. Do anything you can while you're out and about to help make money. So far, I've spent about 250,000 on buying a bunch of different weapons. So if need be, go ahead, build a couple weapons. Do some quests. Do anything you need to do to help make your game go faster and a lot easier. And we are back in Cyanon. We have collected everything up. I probably spent about 270,000. Now, if you're concerned about money, or you maybe don't want to sell weapons as you think they could be somewhat of an exploit, you don't need to do that. You can just go ahead and buy your Pugios and your Southern Throwing Daggers. However, I bought a bunch of them because I want to become a master smith. So therefore, I want all these weapons. So when I came across the city that had 50, 60,000, I would go ahead and make one of my weapons and sell it. Now, the weapon I'm currently building is only worth 55,000. Could I find one that's more expensive than that? I think so. I'm not sure what it is, but I didn't want to waste time with it. Once you unlock the best one in the game, that one I know for sure is worth 120,000 made by a very good smith. We unfortunately have not unlocked that one yet, and that is this one right here. I know this blade also is worth a lot. This one could be worth 100,000 as well. It does depend upon the materials. As you can see, the materials here aren't that great. We don't have a lot of fine steel. Where if you come down to this one, the materials are a bit higher, and as you can see, even higher. As I said, I think this one is definitely worth over 100,000. So you might want to experiment and build one your own. Here is what we collected. Now, if you want to know what ones these are, everything but the throwing daggers I got in Empire territory. Are there fine steel in other cultures' territory? Probably. Have I discovered them all yet? No. I just go with the ones that I know in Empire territory. So if you want to know what these expensive ones are that grant a lot of fine steel, go ahead and pause the video now and write all these names down. That way you know what to look for when you go through. As you can see, this is worth 1 steel. I have 31 of them. That's 15 fine steel. And this bad boy, as you can see, that right there is worth approximately 24 fine steel. So it can build a lot of stuff. So if you want to, pick them up. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I also picked up hardwood. So now I will take the time. First of all, once again, how we have it set up. My wife and I are smelters. We will smelt the items. We do not want other people, for the most part, to do it. Now I'm going to go through and do the major ones first, because these ones can contain some items. And of course, we are also curious smelters, which means we can get parts out of these. What I will have now the companions do is these guys will start now refining all this hardwood. They are practical refiners. So they spend half of their stamina when refining. So as you can see, they do a lot. And if you remember from our previous episodes, the last people in our list are ones that are not curious smiths, but what they do is they refine fine steel. Can't be a curious smith and refine fine steel. So what you might want to do with those guys is refine the fine steel. Fine steel you are going to need, and you're going to need a lot of it, because as soon as you unlock that big weapon, it's going to contain it. So make sure that you go ahead and have these guys refine fine steel. Do not waste their stamina refining charcoal. You're gonna need it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run through and I'm going to do this again. I'm going to get all this stuff done up. As you can see, he can't do it. So we're going to have him go ahead and just hardwood. Once we have all these guys done, then we are going to go through it one more time because we need to get a little bit more fine steel. And also, we need to have all those items smelted down. We still have a bunch that need to be done. Then once we have everything smelted down and ready to go, then we could start pushing our way towards becoming a legendary smith. And if you're happy with a character, one of your guys, and don't want to have them smith and waste materials, have that person not do it. Don't be forced to think you have to have every single person smith every single time. You might look at one character and say, okay, you know what? I'm happy with where they're at. The scholar, he's fine. He doesn't need any more. Let's say we already had that max and these max. Then don't have the scholar do it anymore. Don't have him smith. When you refine something after you smith it, you're going to lose like a half a fine steel. So if you're having him make 12 weapons, you're losing 6 fine steel every time. And if you're having 6 guys smith, that means you're losing 36 fine steel a day. You're going to run out like we did. So maybe back off of somebody. No shame in doing that. So once again, let us get these done. We're hoping that maybe we could get parts out of this, since of course we are curious smelters, but unfortunately, as you can see, nothing is popping up. And then we're going to go back to our guys that do fine steel. Trust me, you're going to need fine steel. And if you start to run out of steel, then you can have your other guys convert iron into steel. You might think, okay, I want a little bit more steel just to be safe. And go ahead and convert a little bit of your iron into steel. You just have to remember, every time you click this, you're using a charcoal. So be careful not to go overboard. Now we're going to run through and we're going to get the rest of this hardwood done up. We have a little bit more. We're going to take the very next round and just smelt. And make sure we get all the items smelted. Because now Pudjos and Southern Throwing Daggers don't normally offer a lot when it comes to parts. So once we have all of this done, we are going to take the next round and we're just going to have everybody melt. And then we will be ready to proceed once again with working towards Legendary Smith. With my cast of characters, I did not get anyone really great to be able to do a Legendary Smith. If you have 10 points into endurance, you can cap at 300 130. That means you would have a 35% chance of getting a legendary item. Unfortunately, as you saw, the best guy that I have right now only has 8 points into endurance. So unfortunately, he's not going to be. And normally I don't have myself as a legendary smith because I want to make sure that I put my points, my attribute points, into something that is just a little bit better. Which these attribute points are valuable. I really like to be able to max this out for price of loyalty and like to max this out for ultimate leader. And Charm's Immortal Charm is amazing, getting free influence a day. So normally I like to max these out. So normally I only put 5 points into endurance. You get a free point from Enduring Smiths that puts you at 6. So his cap 6 times 14 is 84, minus 10 is 74. 200 here, that means my cap will be 274. So that is normally what I hit. I can't even make legendary items. But that's where you have other people in your party for that. Now what we will do is we will do what we did last time. Now it is just a boring smith, smelt, smith, smelt, over and over. That's all we're going to do. And we hope that we are going to finally unlock the big bad weapon. Now, the earlier you unlock that blade, and these good parts, we've unlocked the best parts of all of these. The sooner you unlock that blade, the less amount of time it's going to take. Because that blade is worth a lot more experience than this blade. So the sooner you get it unlocked, the better. So once again, we are just going to build and smelt. And we remember, myself and my wife, we are the curious smelters. I've gotten that blade before, once I hit it in the first 5 days. I can't remember what it was on. It was on one of my playthroughs. And I hit that big blade in the first 5 days. I think it took me 84 days to get Legendary Smith. I think we're probably past that already. I had every part unlocked and was Legendary Smith. Just be getting that blade as early as possible. You want to make sure that you're using that blade every time. Damage is EXP. That is what you need to remember, always. Highest damage two-hander that does not have a one-handed handle. This handle cannot contain a one-hander. That will not work. Must be a two-handed handle. And also, make sure you're making it as big as possible. 152 damage. If you leave this here, it's 147. Maximize every one to get the most experience you can get. And if you can't smelt everything, I should say, don't worry about it. If you got a couple left over after smelting, we'll probably go through the whole thing. You know, if you get to here and all of a sudden, boom, you don't have any more, don't worry about it. Leave it for the next round. It's not that big. Now with her, you could have her, because we set her up as not a curious smith. You can do fine steel. Have her do a couple fine steel, because that's what we're going to run out of. Now we'll go through and look for EXP again. Cow Thief. That is, I think, our newest guy. I think because we're getting close to having every part, I think I want the Cow Thief to be able to do fine steel. Yeah. He's not going to be a curious smith. We want him to do fine steel. That is what we need a lot of, is people making fine steel. All right, we'll put that into endurance, so he gets another 14 points of smithing. And then think, what are they going to become? One-handed, bow, and then we have the choice there. So we're going to max out that one-handed. These now do work. As a 1.5.9, these work. They didn't used to before that. I messed that up. Because I messed it up, I have to reset everything. I do it all over again. That's normally on the bottom. I don't know how that got changed. Stamina for smithing was on the bottom. Huh. It's almost like it changes every patch. So now I got to go back through these guys again. If you make a mistake, you just have to go back through them. And there it is. And I don't think we did this. No, we did not. And now we wait the next day. And we're going to keep doing this over and over until we want to stop. And that is up to you. You need to make that call. When are you done? The higher you get the smithing over 300, the better chance you have on getting a legendary item. It is 5% base and then 1% for every point over 300. Did we unlock it yet? No, we did not unlock it. We did unlock that blade, though. That is a really good blade. Not as good as ours, but really good blade. So we've been super unlucky not to get it unlocked. Sooner or later, you're going to get it unlocked. You just have to keep going with it, and you'll get it done. Is there a chance that you could run out of parts again? Yes. Because we haven't unlocked that blade, we're not getting the maximum amount of experience. It's all RNG. Do you get lucky enough to get that blade? That is why you have to plan out your curious smiths and your curious smelters. You want your curious smelters, which are yourself and your wife, always smelting. They have a 100% better chance of getting parts. So you always got to plan that out. If you do not plan it out, it can literally take you twice as long to get it done. So you want to be very smart with that. You need to write it down. Write the names of the people down. I just remember it from the first two are smelters. These guys are smiths. And these guys make fine steel. That's how I remember it. Easiest way to remember it. Will ever do one fine steel. And do endurance. Endurance is really smart. Every endurance gives you an extra 14 points here, but it also increases athletics and riding. That's everything that you're going to need. Even if they're a cavalry, they're not going to be cavalry in a seat. So it is always really, really smart to do. So now we have the opportunity to make them anything we want. They're full one-handed, they're full bow. So we can go ahead and start pumping points into whatever we want. Whether or not they're going to be an archer, a cavalry, but also, you might also want to make them a governor. So it can be smart to put it into steward as well. Always plan out what you're going to do ahead of time. We'll put that into there. Now his engineering is maxed. Unfortunately, he only has 1 point, so he's only going to be able to cap at 204, but we do have one that can go over 200. Always think about what their role is going to be. It would be very nice to get that blade. That's what we're waiting on. That's what's having this take so long. Do you get lucky enough to get that blade? That blade frees up everything for you. Difference between 84 days and possibly 200 days to smith. When do you get it? And as you can see, not many blades are left. Just cannot get it. And I think I'm going to experiment. How many points does he get? He got 3 points. I want to experiment with this blade. 10 points. I just had a feeling. A feeling just popped into me going, wait a minute, check that blade. And I believe it is giving me better because it contains 6 fine steel. It uses a lot of fine steel though. Yeah, we ran out. So if you run out, come back here and smelt. Then you can go back to smithing. But if you look how much steel we have compared to fine steel, see how much more we have? Sometimes you just have to go ahead and gotta refine into fine steel. So I'm going to have to put somewhere in there, use this blade in the video. You see, he's still not done smithing. So don't be afraid to come back to him. So he's not done? Come back to him. I think she is done though. There, 2 left. So I'm going to have to put that in the video. That is not actually the second best blade. That curved one right there. The long, I don't know how they pronounce that. Bulks blade. That's the blade you want to use as soon as you get the chance. You can experiment. I do not know 100% what is best. I have a feeling that this blade is also decent at the beginning, but I'm not 100% certain. As I said, I don't know everything. I know quite a bit, but I don't know everything about the game. So there are things that you guys teach me as well. I got that point. I'm going to put that into intelligence because I need 8 points into steward to get price of loyalty. He is also a refiner. It looks like he is going to be infantry. Might be Cav. Legendary Smith. It's 5% chance until 300. Now we could start working on whatever we want to work on. He's going to be an archer. I don't normally have a lot of two-handed people. I don't normally do that. So what I've basically done is I probably cost myself anywhere from 20 to 50 days. How many? I don't know for sure. By using that first blade I was using, instead of using the new blade that I just technically discovered, I probably cost myself a ton of time. That is the things that you have to learn when you're doing this. You might actually use a different blade and say, I just gained a ton. Now I have experimented with two-handed polearms. They do not appear to give as much EXP. There are javelins that are just as good. I think it's the Ash Javelin Shaft, and I think it's the Harpoon Head. They sell for a lot of money, but I don't normally go that route. That is something that you can experiment with. As you can see, we didn't get it. But how do you know what blade that was? It's the first curved blade up from the bottom on the right. Go up. There it is. That's how you know which one it is. All the good stuff, that's the second best handle. That's the best handle. All the good stuff is going to be on the left. Or on the right. You can see we were running dangerously low on steel, on fine steel compared to steel. Because you lose a half of a fine steel every time you build and smelt something. So it comes to a point where you just have to stop and you gotta build fine steel. I have 5 people that can do fine steel. Which I'm probably going to have to end up doing next turn. We will unlock that last blade really soon. He's about to go legend, or he's about to go over 300. And once again, we are out of fine steel. We got to make some more fine steel. Oops, I had the wrong guy do it. I had the waste do it. That's not being smart. Yeah, we only got 112 fine steel left. We got to do some fine steel. It can get boring. It can get repetitive. But you're going to get there. Now that you know what I messed up and choosing the wrong blade, then you can learn from my mistake. You can see. And also look, we're starting to get low on charcoal. You've got to think to yourself, all right, let's check town first of all. Grab that. And while we're at it, let's go head to the villages. We need some more wood. We're going to run out. Don't let yourself run out. It's 20 each. That's expensive. But what matters more? Money or getting your smithing done as soon as possible? That is another thing that you have to decide for yourself. Your game, what do you want to do? Now we'll do our skills again. He's going to be another two-hander. This time I think I'm going to make him a cav. I already have plenty of horse archers. I'm sorry, archers. So I think we're going to go ahead and turn him into that. Now I already know he's going to run a group. So we need to look out for these. Scouting, tactics, medicine, and what we have to look out for. I would love to put into Steward, however, he has no medicine. Very little just from his intelligence. He really needs medicine to be effective as a leader. So we're going to put a point into there. He is going to be a refiner. App gets 1 endurance, so she'll go up there. Same thing with her. He's going to run a group. However, I think we really need to get her steward going. Right now, her cap is 3 times 14, which is 42, minus 14, minus 10 is 32. Putting this in here, we're going to now cap her at 72. So that is going to help her get more troops. Now, we know we're low on fine steel. We need fine steel. So we just have to stop and say, okay, we got to take time to do it. It's got to be done. Let's not keep running ourselves out and having to switch back and forth all the time. Let's just go ahead and get it done. So take your guys that can do fine steel and just do it. And that we also bought that hardwood, so now our guys that don't do fine steel, because they're curious smiths, now they can do that hardwood. Also, watch out for your crude iron. If you don't plan on melting your crude iron or refining your crude iron up from here all the way up, sell it in town when you get a chance. It can seriously weigh you down. As you can see, look at what we're down to on charcoal. We're almost out of charcoal. We might have to go run and pick some up. That is why I start with so much hardwood at the beginning. I told you I started with 1,500 hardwood. And that would not be enough. We are going to need more. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go run over to Dungeness, Carbacent, and Oxhall. Unfortunately, that is happening. That is very bad news for us. So I'm going to go run and I'm going to go grab some hardwood, which I'm going to, this village goes to this town, this village goes to this town. I'm going to go run that and grab that, and I will see you in a moment. And welcome back. I did run around. Unfortunately, Oxhall, their village was plundered, so I didn't get as much as I hoped. I only got 400, so we're going to go ahead and we are going to convert that. So that way we have a little bit extra. As you can see, I only have 300 fine steel left. That is going to push us right to the very limit, I think, of getting somebody that is a really good legendary smith. Once they make it over 300, it goes up by 1%. So if you get a guy with 310, that's a 15% chance of a legendary. You could technically stop right there. So it all dictates how high do you want to actually go up. And then also when you get done, you got to think, how many parts do you have left to actually make items? Because some of the best one-handers do require Damascus steel. And that requires fine steel to make. So now, we got to be careful actually. We do have a bunch of fine steel. But we don't have steel, and these guys can't actually make steel. So I kind of didn't think that through a little bit. That's a little bit bad on my part. And let's check this weapon and let's... Oh, we did get it. Finally got it. That should be the best blade. That is what it takes to make. So that was 2. Let's check this blade. And that gave 2 as well. So they're about the same in EXP. But this one requires a lot less fine steel to make. Now I actually want my wife to get some of this done. Because she needs more levels than I do. So I'm going to actually stop for a moment and try to get a little bit of steel made. Because as you saw when making that weapon, it did not use any iron. It used raw iron instead. So we can convert some of that over. So we want to get ourselves a bit of steel. And that way we don't have to stop for a little while. There we go. That looks much better. Now we can go back to actually building. So they are actually reversed. That is the best blade to make that I actually showed you. The regular curved blade is second best. So that was my mistake. And I will try to make sure that I get that in the video. Might have to redo a video, but I'm going to make sure that that gets in there. You get this bad boy nice and early, we probably could have been done already. There's 10 points, there's 9 points, 15, 20, 25. And he gained like about 30 points of smithing. He was a little bit lower though. Even these guys are practically gaining... He's gaining 1 every 2 or 3 smiths. But he's already up near his cap. You can go ahead and refine stuff to get more fine steel. You just have to remember, the more you refine, the more hardwood you'll need. So sometimes it's better just to go around and buy the weapons that have fine steel in them, because it can sometimes be harder to find all the hardwood you need to turn into charcoal. And this used to take a lot longer before Tail World added stamina for smithing skill. Everybody just used to be capped at 100. Now it is actually, as you can see there, he has 242. So they have a lot more now. And I actually want my wife to get skill over me. I'm getting up near my hard cap. She is going to need to run a group. So I want to make sure she gets as much as possible. I just hit 271. I know my cap is 274. There's 272. I'm getting up near my cap. That's why I care more about her right now than myself. There goes the cow thief with a bunch of levels. Endurance. He's now got 8 endurance. It says 7, but he does have 8. 1 point. We're going to decide what we're going to make him. He's got steward, so that's good if he wants to become a governor. Legendary smith. He has a point. We got his 1 point into medicine. Doesn't have any scouting though. But I think I'll actually put this into here, because that way he can level still, and then we can put a point in the scout. More endurance. And of course, she does need a point in the medicine, but we could still have her level. She's only 24. That's why she's so good. Such an early level in the game. You can get her a lot of points. The waste, maxed, maxed, maxed. Now you get to decide. Do you want to put in some riding, and so it could be a cav? Or how about putting into steward? That way, if it comes about, it can be governor. Always plan ahead what your guys are going to do. And then we are going to take a look at where we have people right now. We should have people nearly maxed to where we want them to be as a legendary smith. If they don't have much over 300, it could take a while to build weapons. You can get as much as a +5 on a build. I've gotten +5 swing speed. He's 298, so he's short 2. 5, 76, 71, 58, 944, 272. So the waist is still just short of being a high legendary. Most of us are all legendaries, but it's only a 5% chance. This is what we should have had many days ago. And this would have had our skill. As you can see, we are now getting more steel than fine steel. So sooner or later, you're going to have to go ahead. Every time you lose 1 steel, fine steel, in a smith and then smelting the item, you'll lose only 1 fine steel in this, but you'll gain a steel. You get these 3 back. So it costs 1 and 3 to make it. You'll get 2 and 2 back. That is why you keep seeing we get more steel than fine steel. And that is why a lot of times I don't sell these. If you sell, you're losing all this when you sell an item. You'll make a lot of money, but we don't care about money right now. We care about becoming a legendary smith. That is what we want more than anything right now. Gained another level. That is because we have this blade. This blade is so much experience you get for this. You could literally get 60 to 70 points on a brand new guy depending on how much focus they have. In just 1 smith. I gained another level. Yeah, we have some left over. That's fine. We also do have our big brother as a smelter. Now have max leadership. He gained 2 points. The cow thief. We already know what we want. The cow thief can be either of these. So I am actually going to raise up both of these because I don't know what I'm going to do with him yet. Just in case. We already know what he's got. However, I think we're going to put a point into riding in case we want to make him a cav. Same thing here. One-handed. But I really would like her be able to get some more athletics. We need that for raids. Same thing here, Wanderer. Bunch of athletics, but I kind of want to have some riding. That way we have options. That point goes endurance. And now he did get another point. This time either we want to do one of these two, or we can max out Steward. Let us just max out Steward. He can now get, that would be 246, I believe, would be his cap. That's a lot of troops. Scholar. Go ahead and put it there. Lyanna. Anything? Happy, my girl. We are going to definitely do. And the waste. Look at him. He is now going to be capped at 314. Now, for every point he gets over 300, he gets an extra 1% to make a legendary item. And if he can gain 4 levels, he can cap that at 330. So now if you wanted to, you could go ahead and smith. You could make that call. You could say, all right, I'll go ahead and I can start smithing. I'll start smithing up my polearm, which is this bad boy that I like to use. And you could do your one-handers, but of course one-handers, some of the best blades require, as you can see, Damascus steel. So you might need to refine some of that. And then your two-hander, you have to decide, of course, between these, or another good option is two-handed axes. These are the axes that come from the executioner's axe. And the difference with axes, while they don't hit with this big handle, where a sword would because it's an actual blade, these can hit multiple enemies. So you can decide to do that. And as you can see, we did get ourselves a master or a legendary smith. So he will start gaining that. So for those people that want to see exactly what the legendary smith was and getting it up to this point, you're done. You can stop. The video can actually end for you. However, if you want to see the actual ending and the little bit further that we're going to take it to get even higher, you can continue watching. We are just going to keep doing the same thing that we have been doing. That is why this video will be a bit longer. You can go ahead and stop now, or, hey, let's actually smith just a little bit more and get him a higher percentage. Now, as you can see, obviously, we're running a little bit low on fine steel. So let us get some more fine steel back. You will eventually run out of parts. So you always need to be very careful of that. And make sure you click on it, or you're going to click something else. Now let's make sure Appy melts this stuff. I'm going to get everybody back to where we were. And this is where I'm going to show you now what I was talking about when I said you might want to stop. Now, I feel appropriate that all my guys are done, except for my final guy that I went ahead and grabbed, which is the waste. I already know I want him to become a legendary smith. I am happy where all my other guys are at, of course, except for my companions. These are the people that are going to run groups for me. My big brother, my big brother's wife, and my wife. I'm happy with everybody else. The only person that I want to go higher would be the waste. So what I am going to do is I am going to have the waste only building a weapon. because everybody else is good and I'm happy with their progress. Doing this will take a little bit longer, but it's going to save you in parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have him build. I will then have Lyanna build because she is going to make a group. I will then have my big brother build. Then, of course, I care more about my wife right now gaining skill than myself. And then I'm almost done. Not there yet. Why don't I just get a little bit of experience? I don't get much because I'm about finished. I'm only 2 from hard capping. And then have her make the rest. Now, you didn't have all these other people smith. All these people saved you from losing extra fine steel. So that way you don't have to run back out and grab more. We want her to get control. And we're going to have her do another point in steward. We will get her medicine. Because you got to remember, she's still going to level in putting all of this into steward. He's only level 26. And the waste is 306. He is now up to 11% chance to make a legendary item. That's about 1 in 9. But this way, we're not wasting all those materials. We're going to get him done just a bit quicker. So this is a bonus part of the episode, in which now we're only concentrating on the one person. Sometimes you can have multiple people in your group that can become great legendary smiths. Right now, we just have one. So we are concentrating on him. We want him to get it. And of course, we're still concentrating on our family. They're going to run groups. So it's very important for them. As you can see, we're also starting to get low once again on charcoal. But you can never have too much. And in case you don't want to build anything, I told you I am very close to my cap. I could go ahead and just refine a little bit of the fine steel while I'm at it. There. I refined some fine steel. That way it'll help out. Because obviously we're using more fine steel than steel. And as you can see, we still have plenty of material. We're a little short on wood. But remember, we're in Saiyanon. Check Saiyanon every now and then. Look at that. We got 120 hardwood without even moving. And since we bought it, we could technically sit here and say, no, let's not move. Before we got all these people that got all this stamina sitting here. Why don't we go ahead and just have them immediately refine it all? Okay, now let's go ahead and get our stamina back. If we want, we could go run to the 3 villages and grab all their hardwood that they have, because it looks like they have a surplus, because they're bringing a nice surplus to town. So once again, we do not deviate from what we are doing. Same parts every single time. They are the best parts in the game. Not the scholar, we want the wastes. You can see what he's up to. There's 311. 312. 312. That's 12% plus 5. He now has a 17% chance to make a legendary item. That's about, what, 1 in 6? Approximately? I don't think it's 1 in 7. It's close to 1 in 7 now. I should have gotten his points. Now he's maxed out there. I think I'm going to give him another medicine, because I need him to recuperate his troops. Medicine is absolutely vital nowadays. It is so vital to have medicine because of the way that recruiting is done and how often your troops go down. And Tail World does plan on changing medicine. As of this recording, this is in 1.5.9, just before 1.5.10 is coming out. So soon, when they redo smithing, this entire part is going to become obsolete. I don't know when they're going to redo it. Someday before they go live, they're going to redo it. Once again, let us get to the waste. $13. 14. He now has a 19% chance. Almost a 1 in 5 chance of making a legendary. And if you really want to try to max your skill, I know I'm 2 points short, go ahead and just have yourself build some. You know, you're using just a little bit more products, but it's fine. My cap, I know, is 274. But you got 2 points sitting there, and this is worth a lot of EXP sitting here. This right here, you could see right there, as soon as I hit that, I'm done. So now there's a lot of options for me to choose. I can max out my charm. I can max out my riding, because riding is really important. However, I think I want to put into athletics. Very, very important. Got another level. We got it into medicine. Now I think I'm going to go ahead and get his scouting done. It would be nice to put a point into roguery as well, since he is the party leader. All right, now Lyanna. She has 141 sitting here. I already know with 4 points, that is 46, she would have to put at least 2 points on hard cap. Well, 2 points actually would be 126. She would need 3 points into Steward to break that hard cap. So I am not going to concern myself with Steward. I know she's going to be at 141. So we're going to go into other areas to improve. Happy, now we get her medicine. And the waste. I think now what I want to do is I want to put a point into. That way, if I need him, he can become a governor. I think this will be the last smith, and then I will show you him building me a legendary two-handed polearm. Back to the waist. Getting really slow now, because he doesn't have that. Come on, grab that last point. There we go. He now has a 20% chance, a 1 in 5. And he can normally do it. Looks like to be about 7 or 8. So virtually every time he smiths, he should be able to get a legendary. But of course, that's RNG for you. Very careful. Don't have a lot of charcoal. So now I'm going to show you the waste making my legendary polearm. This is the one that my subscriber Flavius suggested I use, and I have become 1000% addicted to it. It has so much reach, and it's able to dominate on the battlefield. The only thing it doesn't stand up too well, of course, besides arrows, is going to be couch lancing. That is the one thing it has a trouble standing up to. So we're going to go to polearm. We're going to choose that. Now, these do matter a bit, but I know what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is approximately, I want 70 swing speed. So what I want to do is, now you can mess around with these little numbers here and there. As you can see, I got up to 210 length. The higher you go, the less swing you're going to get. Normally I can have about 214. So there's 211, which leads me to believe I might not have the right part in here. All right, here's 214 at 69. I got it up to 213 reach. That is about where I make it. I think I hit 214, and you can play around with these to get the right one. But I think that's close to what I want. So now I will go to the waist. And now it's time for him. It actually requires a hardwood. So now, unfortunately, I don't remember exactly how to save those. We have to go in here and we got to get hardwood. One of these days, I'm going to keep track of what it is. Yeah, it's 213. We had it at 214. That's 211, so we know that's not it. $209. So that definitely isn't it. We'll go back to that. Let's try this out. There it is. That one. 213. 214. There we go. 214. Now I like to name it. I just name it something very simple. Two-handed polearm. And since it's my first one, I call it version 1. What we're looking for is the pluses. Now there's multiple pluses. You remember you have experience smith you get at 100, which I think adds 1 or 2 points. You're going to look for it when it's going to add multiple. That is not a legendary. You'll know a legendary. +4, +3. That is definitely legendary. I didn't get the damage. However, I got the 2 most important. Swing speed, how fast you swing, and handling. Handling determines how much you do full damage. When you make a swing, if you think about at the beginning of your swing, you're not going very fast. So if you hit somebody at the very beginning or the very end of your swing, you're hitting them not in this cone. This is when you're at your maximum. You're hitting them at the very beginning or the very end of your swing. You don't do as much damage. The higher this handling is, the more it opens up this maximum cone of damage and makes it wider, so you do more damage. That is a legendary two-handed polearm. And that is one of the best you're actually going to see. A +4, +3, that is amazing. You got to sometimes check to make sure you got the right one. Yeah, that's it right there. Now, the only thing mine has right now, my long glaive, has damage. I'm going to suffer just a tiny bit of damage, but I'm going to gain in every other area. That is mine. You can see that has one more damage, but not as good swing speed. And the rest of these, since I have nobody else that's going to make a polearm, now we can go ahead and smelt them. Next, what you will do is go through all of your characters, figure out who is going to be getting one-handed, who's going to be getting two-handed, write it down, and then keep track. Are they going to use a bow or are they going to use javelins? That way you can equip them with their one-hander, their two-handed, their javelins, and then you can also assign them to whatever role they are going to play, whether they're going to be infantry, archers, cav, horse archers. That way you can assign them. Once you have that done, all you need to do is buy their equipment with all this expensive stuff, and I will show you one right now, and you're good to go. Let us see, what does this thing sell for? I wonder. I could have checked that with one I just built, but let's go ahead and build one now. What does this thing go for? 100. Is that 170,000 that you see? 177,000. That is how you make money, and this is how you become a legendary smith, and you can get yourself a legendary weapon like that. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If they change smithing, I will probably make an update to this and go ahead and redirect people to the new smithing part of this video. But I greatly appreciate you watching. I greatly appreciate you being here in the channel. And I will see you next time. So until then, take care, and thanks for watching.